everyone, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing my top 10 favorite gels. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. I'm a licensed hairstylist with over 20 years of experience, and on this channel I use those 20 years of experience to help you have healthy, happy hair. Let's just go ahead and get started with the first one, and it's probably fitting that the first one that I grabbed is the Biolage Gelée, or Gelée, I don't know. You know, in the almost 30 years that I've been using this product, I really don't know how I'm supposed to be pronouncing it. But anyway, I love this product. This is a nice thin liquidy gel, which I love because those are great for even distribution. They just glide right onto the hair. This has some slip to it. And I find that this gel is just an extremely versatile gel. And like I said, I've been using it for almost 30 years. So I started using this when I was in cosmetology school in 1993. And I've been using it off and on ever since then. I've used it to style my hair curly. I've used it to straighten my hair. It's just a very versatile product. I find that this works well on a multitude of different hair types as well. So fine hair can use it, coarse hair can use it, which is what I have. It's just such a multi-use and universal product. There are some people who don't like this, and you're gonna find that with basically any product because some things work better than others. And also part of the reason for that is just everybody has different results that they're going for. And so like most of the time what I prefer is a good strong cast with lots of definition and hold and longevity, but not everybody likes that. Some people like lighter, fluffier, bouncier curls, and they don't care so much about longevity. What they want is the fluffiness, the volume, the soft touchable curls, and so then that's just their preference. And the products that work well for giving a cast and longevity are not going to work great for achieving soft, fluffy, bouncy curls that are voluminous. But overall, I do find this to be pretty universal. Some people get a cast with this, some people do not. I get a cast sometimes with this and sometimes I don't. It really depends on what I pair with it. And then on the topic of pairing it, I do find that this plays nicely with basically everything that I've tried it with. I can use this with a multitude of different products from several different brands and it plays nicely with all of them. So overall, I just find this to be just very multi-purpose, very universal, and plays nice with so many different things. And because of all of that, I definitely find that this is a gel that is worth having in your collection. It's probably gonna be a gel that I keep repurchasing for as long as they keep making it. The next gel is the Bounce Curl Light Hold Cream Gel. And this does have a creamy consistency, so it's cream gel, kind of like what it says. And it's liquidy as well, so it's kind of a milky, liquidy, creamy gel. It's very easy to distribute because of how liquidy it is. And because it's kind of a cream gel mix, it definitely has a nice lighter weight hold, and it does say on here light hold, but I do love it for those soft, touchable, light, fluffy, bouncy, voluminous looks. This is part of one of my favorite product combinations of using this with the Bounce Curl Cream along with the Uncle Funky's Daughter Curly Magic Curl Stimulator. And I did a video all about my favorite combinations right here if you want to see the results of that. I love combining this with different things. I do usually use this with another product. I don't use it just by itself because it isn't quite enough hold for what I'm looking for. Even when I'm looking for light, fluffy, bouncy, voluminous curls, I do still want to get a little bit more hold than what this has, but it does pair nicely with other things. So I am able to get a little bit more hold and longevity out of this when I mix it with other gels or if I put a mousse on over the top of it. But one of the things that I really love about this product is the protein content, which you might have to be a little bit careful with that because some people have experienced some dryness or some brittleness from this because it is really high in protein. But I happen to really like the protein content that's in here because it lends strength and structure to the hair, which allows the hair to really spring up and curl to its fullest potential. And it also allows your hair to really spring up because of how lightweight it is. It isn't going to set in place before your hair has had a chance to curl up and spring up. Now, it does have aloe in here, and some people do have issues with aloe. Sometimes it can cause flash drying. I do sometimes experience flash drying with this, but it's not enough to make me stop using it. I don't find it to be too much of a problem. I just add more water to it and I'm good to go. And I usually put this in only after I have already defined my hair with the curl cream, and then I just glaze and scrunch this in, and I don't find that flash drying is too much of a problem once I've gotten to that point. Flash drying really only kind of irritates me when it happens while I'm brush styling my hair, but if it happens after I've finished brush styling my hair, it doesn't bother me all that much. And hey, it's great because then it just speeds up the drying process, which is another thing I really like about this gel as well, is that it does dry really quickly no matter how much of it I have in my hair. But if you've been thinking about trying this to see if it's worth all of the hype, I would say that it is most definitely worth all the hype. It is a great gel. I actually don't have very much of it left. I've gone through quite a bit of it, and that is saying something when you consider how many products that I have because of this channel. So anything that I have gone through or have almost completely used up is definitely indicative of really great quality stuff. If you're looking for something that is lightweight and gives great volume, and if you've got fine hair especially, this is going to be really great for fine hair, and you just want some volume and fluff and bounce and springy curls, I highly recommend giving this one a try. The next gel is the Kinky Curly Curling Custard, and now this one is more of, it's like a really thick kind of souffle pudding jelly kind of consistency. It smells really good. It smells kind of like vanilla cake, vanilla frosting, I don't know, something like that. It's a little bit on the stronger side, and after a few days that smell starts to get to be a little too much for me, and I don't usually go longer than 2 or 3 days before I wash it out because it just gets to be a little bit too much. Even though it does smell really good, it's just, it can be a little overpowering. So if you're sensitive to fragrances, that is something to consider. That is probably the only downside that I see with this. Or if you're somebody who doesn't like a very strong, crispy, crunchy cast, because this will most definitely give you a very strong, crispy, crunchy cast, which is what I like about it. One of the things that I like about it. I love that it gives me a great crispy, crunchy cast. I can diffuse my hair without having to worry about any kind of frizz developing because it does set pretty quickly, and I can kind of get a little careless with my diffusing and not really have to worry about it because this is gonna hold everything in place. This is one of those gels that I like to wash my hair in the evening, leave the cast in, sleep with the cast in, and then scrunch it out in the morning, and then I get nice, touchable, soft curls that have a lot of hold and a lot of longevity. If you live in a really humid climate, this might be something that works really well for you. Some people find that leaving a cast in the humidity really is one of the best ways to help fight the formation of frizz, because once that cast is on there, I mean, it's just like the name suggests, it's a cast. It's going to hold it in place, and it's going to really help fight that frizz if it's just kind of held in place. I think this probably works best for medium to coarse hair. When you start getting into fine hair, it might be a little too much for some of the really fine, low density hair, that just because that cast is just so solid and so crunchy that it might actually cause too much separation and kind of make lower density hair look even less dense than what it already is, just because it's going to really hold it all together, and it just might be a little overwhelming for the finest of hair. And you know, if your hair is really easily weighed down, this just might be a little bit too much for you if you're on that end of the spectrum. But if you like an ironclad cast, something with longevity and hold, this could be your gel. The next one is the Keratin Styling Gel, and this one is one that I've tried more recently, so I haven't had this one for a very long time, but it has found its way into my favorites. And it smells really good. It has kind of a slightly sweet, maybe a little bit citrusy smell to it, and this gel I think is kind of deceptive because you can see that it's this really thick gel, and it's almost, again, kind of like pudding-like. I don't want it to fall out, but it is really thick. It's a little bit difficult to distribute because of that, so you need to make sure your hair is fairly wet, and you're going to want to do more scrunching it in rather than smoothing it over. Or you can spray a little bit of water onto your hands and then get some of the gel and mix the two together to kind of distribute it through your hair. Just make sure you're not using too much, because it can dilute the product a little too much and then you're not going to get the benefits of it. But this actually has some really great hold. And the reason why I say actually is because this leaves your hair really soft. It doesn't leave a cast, and yet it has great hold. It helps to fight the frizz, and you get great, soft, touchable, bouncy, voluminous curls out of this. And then combine that with their leave-in conditioner, which kind of behaves like a curl cream as well. The two together just create just wonderful, soft, defined, bouncy, fluffy curls that really do last, as if you were using a gel that had more of a cast. So that's why I say that this is kind of deceptive, because since it's so thick, it looks like it would have a cast and it looks like it would have that kind of longevity, but it actually creates super soft curls with longevity and no cast. So it's kind of a weird one, but I love it for all of those reasons. And even though it is more difficult to distribute, I'm totally fine with that. I will find a way to make it work, just because I love the results that I get from this. This is another one that has some decent protein content in it, and I don't find that I get too much protein when I use this with their leave-in conditioner as well, which also contains protein. I find that the protein that they use in there just leaves just nice, silky, soft, smooth, defined, shiny, touchable, fluffy, bouncy curls. I mean, I really can't say enough about this. And I did do a review video right here if you'd like to see that. It was a sponsored video, but this is not. And I'm not putting it in here because they sponsored that video or are paying me right now. I really do truly love this product, and I love the results that I get out of it. It's a great gel. So I do use this quite a bit off camera, and I can't remember if I've used it in any other combinations on camera in other videos, but it's just a great gel. If you haven't tried this one yet, I definitely recommend giving it a try. And this is one that I can see working really well for all types of hair, from coarse to fine, and even fine low density hair, just because it is really lightweight and doesn't weigh your hair down. The only problem is just distributing it into your hair. If you have really fine hair, you're just gonna have to use small amounts at a time, maybe mix it with a little bit of water and scrunch it in so that you don't completely overwhelm your hair. But once you get it in there, I really think that you're gonna be pleasantly surprised by how lightweight this actually is and the hold that you can get out of it. And now moving on to kind of my cheat in this one, because almost every single one of these videos that I do, I have to kind of cheat. I just can't stop myself. I don't know. I have a hard time picking. I have a hard time narrowing things down because there are so many that I really like. But the reason why I'm throwing these in here as a cheat, and I did that too with the curl creams, I try to throw in something that the products are very much related or complementary or maybe even dupes of each other, and that's what we have here. I actually have the less expensive version and the more expensive version. So this is the Wavy Advanced Climate Control, and this is their stronger hold gel. And then this is the Twist by Wavy Weather Up Gel, and they're both very liquidy gels. This one forms more of a cast than this one does. This one, they both have really great hold. I actually did a video comparing the two of them right here if you'd like to see how all of that worked out, but they are very comparable, and there wasn't enough of a difference in that video for me to say definitely get this one or definitely get this one. It's going to be down to personal preference. This did give me more of a cast. This did make my hair a little bit more defined, but because of that, I do get a little bit more longevity out of this one than this one, but the difference is minimal. This is one where I would wash at night and sleep with the cast and then scrunch it out in the morning. This is one where I wouldn't have to worry about it either way. I could do it that way, or I could style my hair earlier in the day, scrunch out the crunch. There's not a whole lot of crunch with this one. There's a slight cast. Some people might not even get a cast. It kind of depends on what you pair it with. But yeah, both of these I think are really great gels. It's going to come down to personal preference and, you know, your budget, because they are so very comparable and almost dupes of each other that it really, you know, they're really, really, really close. So if you're thinking about either one of these and you're not sure which to get, go ahead and check out the review video that I mentioned that I was putting a card up here, and see how they looked and see if you think there's enough difference between the two for you to decide which one you like better than the other. I really can't choose between the two even after that video. I think they're both very comparable. They're both really, really good. They both work really well in humidity. I've tested them both and it was humid, I believe, during that video that I was mentioning, and they both perform very well. I mean, I could go on and on about these, but I don't want the video to be 20 hours long, so we will move on to the next one. And the next one is the Trelux High Definition Curl Enhancer Styling Gel. I don't know why everything needs to have like these super long names. Like, I'm always having to look to see what their names are on there, or I have to like put it up here later, like if the writing's too tiny and I can't see it. I can never remember these super long names. However, all that being said, that's probably my only complaint about this gel. I really don't have any other complaints. I absolutely love this. I think it's got a great combination of moisturizing ingredients as well as protein, and I think it's got really, really great hold. And it does create a cast. So if you don't like a cast, you probably won't like this one, because it does create a nice, crunchy, hard cast. However, it scrunches out very, very easily, like very easily. And once it is scrunched out, you are left with just soft, shiny, touchable, voluminous, luscious curls. And I do really like pairing this with the other two Trelux stylers. So the Trelux Cream and the Reflex Serum. I think the three together just is such a great combination. In fact, it was also in that video where I did my favorite combinations if you want to see it in action. I love all three of them together for nice, voluminous, shiny, fluffy, bouncy curls that last. And ordinarily, I'm not somebody who likes to use all my products from one brand. In fact, it's kind of funny because in that video, I talked about how I don't like one brand wash days, and yet I really do like using all three stylers together. The thing I didn't like adding in there was their shampoo and conditioner. So whenever I use these, I don't also use their shampoo and conditioner because I just find I don't get the really nice results that I like out of them. But the stylers together, just the three of them, is great. I have used this with other things. I haven't used it with enough things to know if it pairs nicely with absolutely everything, but it does pair nicely with the things that I've tried. And the things that I've tried with this are the Bounce Curl Clump and Define Cream, which is a great combination. I've tried it with the Keratin leave-in conditioner, the curly leave-in conditioner, and it works great with that as well. And I can't remember what else I've used it with. So it does pair nicely with other things, and I really need to start trying it with more things instead of being so stuck on the combination of the Trelux stylers. And so I will definitely be working on that and probably trying to do that a little bit more in some upcoming episodes of Shop My Stash Curly Combo videos. And I'll just kind of show you what this looks like. This is a brand new tub, so it'll probably come out. So it's definitely more of like a pudding type consistency, a custardy type consistency. You can see that. And because of that, I kind of wish it was in a different container. I don't understand all of these tub type containers for some of these kind of gels that are kind of between thick and liquidy. I think that a squeezy tube would be better than a tub. So if there was any downside to this gel other than the long name, I would have to say it would be the container that it's in, because sometimes it's kind of a pain to grab it out of there. I wind up like losing some of it on the floor because it'll slide out of my fingers as I'm pulling it out of the tub, and it'll wind up on my counter or on my floor. So I really would like it to be in a different container than what it is. But that's not going to keep me from buying it and from using it, because like I said, it's such a great product. It really does hold very well, great longevity, nice soft touchable curls after the crunch is scrunched out. And I don't mind the crunch that I get from this because it does help with the longevity, and I am able to style my hair in the evening, sleep with the cast in, and then just wake up and scrunch out whatever is left, which most of it works out during the night while I'm sleeping, so there's never very much left in my hair to scrunch out in the morning. So this is another one that I would have to say is worth all the hype, and if you've been considering trying this out, I would say definitely give it a shot. I do think that this is something that works well from the finest of hair to the coarsest of hair, just because of how lightweight it is and all of the volume that I am able to get out of all three of the Trailex products. But even when I use this with other things, I do still have lots of volume. It feels virtually weightless on my hair, so I do think that those of you with fine, easily weighed down hair would probably be able to use this very easily as well. The next one is the Curlsmith Curl Defining Styling Souffle, and this is another one where I hate the packaging. It's another, you can see, and it's about ready to fall out if I tip it much more than that. It's one of those jiggly, thickish, kind of runny-ish type gels that they stuck in a tub that I just don't like in a tub. I kind of wish they'd put it in a squeezy tube. Their travel size of this is in a squeezy tube, and I don't understand why they can't put the larger sizes in what, I mean, when you do this, you can hear it moving around in there, so it would work great in a squeezy tube. But that is probably my only complaint about this. So this is probably my favorite of the Curlsmith gels, and I like all of their gels, all of them. It was really hard for me to decide between this one and their Aqua Gel, which has protein and is liquidy, and I love how liquidy it is, and I love the protein content of it, but it has a little less hold than this does. This has what they call, I think it's a level 5, they call it a bouncy hold, and I would agree with that. I think this is just probably the perfect amount of hold. And I mean, the bouncy, yep, it definitely gives me nice bouncy curls. It holds really well. It does form a cast, but it's not that cast like what you get with their in-shower style fixer, which the cast there basically lasts for like 500 years, and it can look a little stringy at first until it kind of works itself out. But I find with this, I don't really get that. It scrunches out very easily, and I'm left with just soft, touchable curls that have a great level of hold and longevity, and it distributes really easily. And again, this is a whole brand that gets a lot of attention, and it is well deserved. This next one I've already actually mentioned earlier in conjunction with another gel, and it's definitely found its way into my favorites just because even though we had a rough start and it took me a minute to figure out how best to use it, but now that I absolutely love it, and that is the Uncle Funky's Daughter Curly Magic Curl Stimulator, another one with a mile-long name, but it is a great, great gel. My favorite way to use this is with the Bounce Curl Clump and Define Cream, followed by the Bounce Curl Light Cream Gel, and then I scrunch this in last. I kind of glaze it and scrunch it in last. I find that doing it that way really, really helps to enhance my curls and to increase the definition by helping them to clump even more than they already are. And it does have some great hold that way as well. It adds the hold that it has to the hold that the light cream gel has, which is a much lighter hold, and the two together give a great, great hold. And if you are somebody who is looking for shine, or your hair is dull and it is lacking shine, this makes my hair look almost wet because of how shiny it is. Like, it doesn't look wet bad as in like slicked hair or crunchy hair. It just looks super shiny. I don't think I've used another product that's added that much shine to my hair other than this. It's amazing the amount of shine that I get from this gel. Now, I do have to give a disclaimer. My hair is naturally pretty shiny all on its own. It's pretty healthy. The cuticles lay pretty much flat and smooth, so it's able to reflect light and be shiny. But I do get just a ton more shine with this. I'm not entirely sure what it is that's in there that does that, and it might be the marshmallow root or something like that, which also gives it like this weird kind of texture and slip. It's kind of like snot almost. I don't know. It's a very strange texture, but it works really, really well, and I do find that This works best when it is applied last, which is strange because it's kind of, I think, meant to be like a curl enhancer or something like that. And you would think curl enhancer, that goes earlier in the routine, and you layer over the top of a curl enhancer. But for me, I find this always works so much better if I apply it at the very end of a routine. And I also find that this works better when I use it with those lighter hold gels that are of kind of a milky, creamy consistency, watery consistency. It's really hard to explain what those gels are like, but if you've ever looked at them, like, they're watery, but they're kind of whitish, creamy-ish looking. Not really a lotion type texture, but yeah, they're both creamy and watery all at the same time. So I do find that this works really well at the end of a routine with those types of gels. And I do think fine hair can use this, but if you have fine, low density hair, this might be a little bit too much for you. It might create a little bit too much separation for your hair, which you're probably trying to achieve more fullness rather than separation. So this might be a gel that you're trying to avoid, especially if the outcome that you're looking for is something more full and fluffy. This tends to be more clumpy and defined versus full and fluffy. Also, if you don't like a cast, you may not like this as well. This does give me a decent cast, but I also think it's kind of how you use it too and what you're using it with, because I remember when I was first trying this out, I didn't really get much of a cast with it when I was trying to use it more in the middle of my routine versus at the very end. So for me, I get a really good cast out of it when I use it at the end of a routine using lighter hold gels that kind of have a more creamy consistency. And then when I was using it in the middle of my routine, I didn't get much of a cast, but I also just didn't get a whole lot out of it that way as well. So this is one of those things that you may want to play around with the order that you put it in. You might find that it works really well if you put it at the beginning of your routine or the end of, or the middle of your routine. But if you've been struggling to get this to work either of those ways, maybe try it at the end of your routine where you just scrunch it in at the very last before you diffuse, and that might be the ticket for getting this to work for you. So this next gel is newer to me and I haven't been using it for very long, and yet it's almost gone. And that is the Evolve Dream Gel. And this is another one that is lightweight and has kind of a creamy gel type consistency. It's not a clear gel, it's kind of whitish, and so it's kind of a gel cream mix, but behaves like a gel, but there's no crunch, and it gives great hold. And I can't say that this gives me the same amount of longevity as some of my other gels, but if I'm not looking for longevity and what I want is just soft, touchable, bouncy, fluffy, voluminous curls, this is definitely the gel that I reach for. And I think I've only got about this much of it left, which again, that's saying something with the amount of products that I have. I don't tend to use things up just because I have so many to choose from. So if I use anything up or come close to using something up, it's because I'm reaching for it quite a bit. And I really have been reaching for this quite often just because I really do like the light, fluffy, bouncy curls that I get out of it. And that's a look that I've really been enjoying a lot lately. I do still like my hard hold gels. I do still like longevity. I do still like a really hard cast, but I've just been kind of liking the more light, fluffy, voluminous, bouncy curls look a lot more lately, and the more touchably soft right from the beginning type curls. It's just been a thing that I've kind of been into lately, and this definitely helps achieve that. I think because of the amount of volume and how lightweight and kind of bouncy curls that you get out of this, this is definitely really good for fine, easily weighed down hair. If you have really coarse hair like I do and you like a lot of hold, this might not be the gel for you, because I do really get my best hold out of this one for wash day, and it will hold up on day 2 as well. But by day 3, it's not really holding up very well, and that's usually when I'll just kind of put it up at that point, because it doesn't have a whole lot of hold at that point, but it also doesn't claim to have 3 days hold. It does hold really, really well throughout the entire day, and also for me into day 2. It's just day 2 is looking a little frizzy, a little fluffy, but it's got a lot of volume, and I kind of like the fluff. With this one, like I said, if you have really fine, easily weighed down hair, it's going to be great for you. If you like the more soft, touchable, voluminous, fluffy curls, this is going to be great for you. If you have coarse hair and you want longevity or a cast, this is probably not going to be the gel for you. But if you haven't given this a try and you do like the type of curl that I mentioned that it gives you, I would highly recommend trying this one out. Now, last but not least, I have AG Liquid Effects, and this says it is an extra firm styling lotion. I would have to say that that's accurate. This definitely has great hold, really strong hold, but it doesn't have an ironclad cast that you would expect from something like that. I do get a cast out of this, but it's not the type of cast that you're scrunching for forever. You scrunch it out and you have nice, soft, touchable curls that have great hold and great longevity. If there was anything that could surpass my Biolage, this might be it, but I don't know that I could ever say that, because while they have some similarities, there are some definite differences as well. And I haven't used this one for nearly as long as I have used the Biolage. That one has been a 3 decades thing. That one I have used for styling a bunch of different ways. So that one has been through a lot of different styles, a lot of different ways that I've worn my hair. I've straightened my hair with it. So that one has been put to the test for 3 decades. This one I haven't been using nearly as long, so I can't really say that it is going to take the place of the Biolage. I don't know that anything ever will, just because of how versatile it actually is and how well it plays with other things. But I am finding that as I'm playing around with this a little bit more, this also plays nice with a multitude of different products. I've used it with a lot of different brands at this point. I can't remember all of the different things that I've used it with, just because I'm not always smart enough to write everything down. I really need to work on that, because I'll try things with different things and I'll be like, ooh, that was great. And then when I look at the picture that I took later, I don't remember what I put in there. So I need to work on that. But I have tried this with a multitude of different things, and it works really, really well with everything that I've paired it with. And of course, it works really well with the 2 AG curl creams that I have, which are the AG Recoil and also the AG Curl Fresh Definer. Both work really well with this gel. Not both at the same time with this gel, but each of them separately with the gel. It works really great with that. It also works really well with the Briogeo Curl Charisma, which was one of my favorite curl creams. It's a great pairing as well. But like I said, it pairs nicely with a lot of different things. The other thing I really like about this is just how liquidy it is. My favorite type of gel is a liquidy gel. Even though I do have some soufflés and pudding type texture gels in here, and then I have some super thick ones. Even though I do have those in here and I do really like those, my favorite is always going to be a liquidy type gel, because I find that they're just really, really easy to distribute throughout the hair. It's not anything that you really have to spend a whole lot of time on or anything like that. You just pour a pool into your hand, emulsify between the 2 hands, and then you can very easily smooth it on, glaze it on, scrunch it in, and you're good to go. So liquidy gels will always be my favorite type of gel. And then the fact that this is extra firm hold just kind of really pushes it over the edge for me. And the fact that even though it has a cast, it's not this type of cast that takes forever to scrunch out. And it does leave my hair nice and soft and touchable after I have scrunched it out. It helps to maintain the definition and the clumping that I get from my curl creams, and I get a good 3 days out of this no matter what I pair it with, just because of the hold of this particular gel. And this is one that doesn't get talked about a whole lot, and I'm not sure why, because it's a really, really great gel, and I highly recommend giving it a try. I do think that this is one that is going to work with any type of hair, from really fine to really coarse and anything in between, just because it is, even though it is very firm hold, it is also lightweight. It's not a very heavy gel, and because it is a more liquidy gel, it can be a little bit easier for people who have fine, low density hair to apply this to their hair without it becoming overly clumpy and too separated, So I think it'll work really well for, like I said, fine, easily weighed down, low density hair, as well as those of us who have very coarse, higher density hair. It works really well for us as well. So I highly recommend giving this one a try, and as a starter type combo, giving it a try with the AG Recoil or the AG Curl Fresh Definer and seeing how those work for you. And this concludes my top 10 gels video. Hopefully you found this helpful and maybe found a gel or two that you'd like to try. And for those of you who might have found a few too many gels that you'd like to try, I apologize to your bank account. If you liked this video, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.